Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the It's Pizza Time podcast. I'm your host, iNDiGO. Today I'm joined by my co host, Victor,
It's good, guys.
my co host, John, who's finally back from his road trip,
Hello.
and our very special guest, Paper Skies.
Welcome.
All right, so I guess for everybody who doesn't know who or what Paper Skies is, would you like to give like a little brief explanation as to?
Yeah, so I'm a famous producer that's not actually famous. I like to talk in the third person, but I mainly make melodic dubstep. I've been in the music production scene for about 5 years now, and I'm very excited to be on this podcast.
Nice. I mean, you know how good it is that like the people we get on the podcast are excited to be here. That's always a dub.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll jump right into the precursor question, the first thing that we always bring up. But what is your favorite kind of pizza?
This is gonna sound like really biased, I guess, but I'm Canadian, so my favorite pizza is the Canadian pizza, and not just because it has a name in it, but I don't know. I just like mushrooms on my pizza. I like a couple meats assorted. I will say that my least favorite pizza is pineapple pizza, and if anyone disagrees with me, you should probably stop watching now because we're gonna have a lot of conflicting views.
Dude. John, do you have something to say about that?
No, I got nothing.
Oh,
You got his
John.
opinion. I got mine. I do like mushrooms though, so like we're good on that.
So we found an even ground. Okay.
Yeah, mushrooms and
Alright,
pineapple on the pizza.
Dude, I think this is the first time I'm gonna wear glasses during the podcast. I'm so like tired I can't see anything.
Killing
So
it.
like neat. All right. Yeah, I don't is Canadian pizza just mushrooms or is there more to it?
It's typically mushrooms, like little beef bits, and then and I think pepperoni sometimes. I don't know, but it's just like I don't know even why it's called the Canadian pizza. There's nothing like inherently Canadian about it. It's not like they fucking put maple syrup all over it or some shit, but it tastes
You
good.
think there are
They sell
pizzas
it
that like
everywhere.
put you think there are pizzas that put maple syrup all over them?
There's got to be some weird places in
Yeah,
Canada, like the tourist spots and everything. Like, yo, you want a real Canadian pizza? We got you, bro. And they put all
right.
that shit on there, bacon.
Yeah. It's just a pizza wrapped in a Canadian flag and you eat that.
Exactly.
Yeah, we had the French boys on last week, and they were like, they put honey on their pizza. So I mean,
Really?
they
Like
have,
they just
yeah.
like put it on like all the time? Like it's a typical thing?
I guess so. It's apparently a delicacy in France.
That's like having like ketchup with macaroni. Like I know there's a lot of people that like that kind of
Some
thing, but when I
cursed
first heard
No.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
No. Don't ruin the macaroni. Come on.
about it.
Dude, it's like I don't understand. Like in the end I kind of understand because it's like, it's pasta, like pasta with ketchup. It's like that's already kind of too far over the line, but mac and cheese, no, you don't do
Yeah,
that.
No, you don't.
Cheese just doesn't work with it.
Yeah, it's like that's sinful.
I mean, it's mac and cheese for a reason.
Just-
Like, you don't mess with it. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. Now I'm just like trying to like not picture mac and cheese with
For
ketchup
real.
in my head, but I'm thinking like the Kraft mac and cheese though. I couldn't imagine like home style like, homemade mac and cheese or like some restaurant like the quote unquote gourmet mac and cheese with ketchup on it. If you do that, then you're
No,
like just ruining it.
you're getting kicked out the
But
restaurant.
like think about how weird it is in terms of like separate layers. Like if you have like it's a combination of pasta, like cheddar cheese usually, and ketchup. Like when you ever like make a spaghetti, like melt cheese on it and just fill that with ketchup, like this sounds gross.
Yeah, ketchup, no.
Dude, that's
So many
weird.
people are mad at me right now, but
we should do like make a bowl of like spaghetti, but like replace all the marinara with like ketchup and just like
here you go.
just
Nothing
like
strange about this
see if
dish.
That's
they
straight cursed, honestly.
it'd be so sweet.
Like marinara and,
Alright.
and ketchup are like so different. It's like they're the same thing. They stem from the same thing, but their taste so different.
That's facts. That's very strange. This is a
It's
big
very
question.
interesting
Well,
thing.
ketchup is mad processed too,
Yeah.
but then again,
Yeah.
so is marinara.
I mean, marinara is like less
It's less.
pulverized.
Yeah, like ketchup, that shit's fucking like glowing red. Like honestly.
Illuminating.
Yeah, dude. That okay. Let's move on to like some music talk. How about that? To
Sounds
go
good.
get away from cursed foods.
I'm down for it.
Um all right. So so like how did you, I guess, start when it came to, you know, get your kind of music and stuff like that? How did you get like
Um,
involved
I
originally?
always knew that I wanted to make melodic dubstep, and basically when I started off, I started off playing piano as a kid. My family bought me this massive keyboard that you still see here that I still use in my production. But I was playing that, performing like me singing Bruno Mars and playing the piano at the same time for all my school's like elementary talent shows, and I was just like a huge EDM fanatic. And I would draw all my favorite artist logos and pin them on my wall and stuff. And separate note, but I remember one time and this was so cringe of me to do as a kid, but like I made a it was like my birthday, and I just took like a mirror selfie of myself, and I tagged Panda Eyes on myself because he was like my favorite producer at the time, and I was like, "It's my birthday" in the caption or something, and I'm in the car with my family, and I remember seeing Panda Eyes comments on your post, and I was like, "Holy fuck, dude! What is going on?" So I checked my phone, and he just said, "Lol, what the fuck." He had no idea why he was betting on it. And it made me really sad as a kid, but looking back at it now, it's pretty funny. But anyways,
Definitely is funny.
my whole Instagram was just dedicated to just pushing all my favorite EDM guys, which at the time were like Virtual Riot, Panda Eyes, Volent, Skrillex, Nero, and a lot of the Monster Cat guys just in general too.
Yeah,
Um,
Volant's a
and
name that I haven't like heard in a while, I guess.
coolest thing, I've actually been talking to Volan quite a bit recently. Like he's a homie. He's a really cool guy, and it's nice being able to finally bridge that gap between like just a super fan as a kid to like now I can have productive non cringy talks with these guys.
Yeah,
But
I feel that. It's such a weird concept. It's like, you idolize these people and then you're like the next thing you know, then you're just like chilling out with them and you're like,
yeah,
this
it's cool.
this all right, cool. How did
This
I
is
get
happening
here?
now. Yeah, I was a huge fan, and then the one barrier that stopped me from getting started in production earlier than I did was I thought it cost a lot of money because when you look at like music production in general, like as a topic, I think one of the first things that come up is like those Google images of people sitting in a studio with like 1,000 knobs that need to be turned in front of them at like an actual production studio. And I
Yeah.
thought that's what you needed to get started was this whole ass couple $1,000 studio. Then I watched a Virtual Riot live stream. He was making Lunar, and I was spamming his chat like, "How much does it cost to start producing? How much does it cost to start producing?" And if you look back at the chat, you'll probably see me in there being annoying as fuck. And then finally, people tagged me and they were like, "Can you shut the fuck up? It's free. Just download the demo of any DAW." So I got FL Studio that day, and that was the start of my whole production journey. I got immediately into it. Immediately, just spent like 6 to 8 hours a day for my first year, just producing on and off. Um, and got really invested in it. And now 5 years later, I am where I am, and I guarantee if I showed myself back then what I'm making now, I would be in tears in like the best way possible.
I mean, damn. Okay. Well, this is like one of the few people that you don't really talk to a lot of people that were, I guess, around or I guess like super fans of like bigger artists, because I think like it's a lot of times it's like people bring up that they were like that their main inspiration is like Skrillex or something like that.
Yeah.
But like don't there aren't many people that like take their main inspiration, I guess. Like you, for example, like Virtual Riot and stuff came after Skrillex.
Mm-hmm.
Have our like personally like my main inspirations are people that were inspired by Skrillex, I guess, as in your case, and I
Yeah.
feel like that's kind of interesting. It's
It
like
was cool because when I first started listening to Virtual Riot and became like a huge super fan of his stuff, it was before he had released Idols and Energy Drink and all those big tunes. So he wasn't like a big artist by any means, and I think that was the most inspiring part for me, even still now, like looking at his journey as a producer, because I've seen his Instagram feed go from like posting photos of him holding a plushie next to his computer to like now he's performing on main stages across the world. So it kind of inspires me that if he's able to do that, then what's stopping me from doing it if I just keep working hard, you know?
Exactly. Like, I mean, that stuff is like completely strange. It's like, if you don't really know exactly who's gonna fucking blow up in the scene, it's
Yeah.
always just like it's just like, random chance, which I find is always very like it's kind of like always a motivator. You can always
Mhm.
like, if they could do it, I could fucking do it, no problem. There
Yeah.
obviously there will be some problem, but like, you know what I
There's
mean.
a lot of problems. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
But I think if you're just giving it your best and having a good time with it, you're gonna see opportunities, and everyone's level of success stands at a different place, right? Like for me, being successful doesn't mean that I have to live off my music and be making millions or thousands even. As long as I can, start playing shows and just get my name out there and see people enjoy my music, that's all I really care about.
Yeah, that's always like the main goal. You make it because you make it because you want to make it, and if other
Yeah.
people like listening to it, that's just a added bonus.
Yeah.
Um, all right, Victor, you got something you wanna ask?
Yes, so I see you're flashing LED lights. So,
Yeah.
so do you play any games? Because games are associated with LED or
Flashing
RPG,
LED lights.
of
Yeah,
course.
every person with LED lights in the room has got to be a gamer.
Absolutely.
That's what it
Kind of.
is.
Okay, so I feel like I would be a gamer if it wasn't for the mix of like work and music. Because like this year especially, I've been so swamped to the point where it's like I kind of try to manage at least like a solid schedule in every day. So even during quarantine, I never found myself being bored at any point because I'm constantly working on stuff. Because aside from the Paper Skies music, I'm running O4 Collective, which is my record label that I've been doing for close to a year and a half now with a few other staff members. It takes up a ton of my time. And then I work two jobs as the lead graphic designer for a multimedia firm and then for an EDM company in Ontario that does all the main shows there. And the EDM thing was pretty new. I started doing it at the start of quarantine. And once quarantine chills out and everything, that should lead to a lot of show opportunities. So I'm really excited.
Super sick.
That's definitely something sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely like. I guess in the sense you're definitely a lot better off than most people during quarantine. The fact that you got so much on your plate still. Like a
Yeah,
lot of people,
I had a great time with it, to be honest. Like in the first month, I was just like, I want to pick up some new skills. So I learned how to develop on the web. The back end stuff is still super, super new to me, but just front end web design and how to properly scale things and make sure that when I send it to a back end developer, he can actually work with the files properly. And then and DJing too, obviously, so that way I can be able to play live shows. And that was through the entertainment company. They basically just lended me their decks for like a week and a half, and I just sat there the whole day, like DJing whatever I could, anything from like EDM music to like rhythm quads to old hip hop instrumental beats, since I'm a huge fan of that stuff too from the side. It was a ton of fun. It just felt like a whole new territory I hadn't really delved into, and now that I do, I really, really want to set a decks, but they're expensive as fuck.
Yeah, they are. It's ridiculous.
Mm.
I was working on X DJs, like a full like 4 deck setup with a mixer. So it
Yeah.
was the
Oh,
whole
wow.
thing. So like I'm at a point where I can borrow those decks whenever I want because the guy who owns them, his name's Chris. He works at Bass Army, great guy. He basically said, feel free to pick these up whenever the hell you want. You can keep them even upwards for a month at a time as long as I don't need them. So I have that available to me, but because I've gotten so used to working with those, I don't even want to go out of the way to just buy like a small little Pioneer deck or something because I'm just so locked into the equipment that I've been.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, I feel that it's like it's like getting a taste of like the Lux life. You don't really want to
Exactly.
go back.
Yeah. And then, me being lucky enough, obviously, to have that equipment whenever I need it. So I've got a couple sets coming up. One on the 8th, I'm doing an artist showcase for Bass Army, which is that company. And then on the 28th, 29th, or 30th, one of those 3 days, I don't know exactly which because it's a 3-day fest. I'm doing another one with Bass Army. And that's going to be back to back with two of my artists at O4 Collective, Space Yeti and Famous Spear. I'm really excited for it.
Oh, Space Yeti.
Yeah.
Good.
And then
Oh,
go
John
ahead,
is
go ahead.
aware of something. Oh my god, John that actually said something. I'm surprised.
I heard Space Yeti through like SoundCloud one time because I was watching like a live stream and like people were submitting stuff in. And I heard it's like hybrid He makes like a
Mhm.
bit of like hybrid, huh? He said like
Yeah,
I
it's
really
a mix
enjoy
of
the
like
show.
hybrid and dubstep stuff. He's really cool.
Yeah, good stuff.
And then are all those
Okay.
shows online shows, or are
All
they?
those are online shows for now, yeah, because
Of
we
course.
don't want to be touching anything, especially after what happened with the chain smokers. If you guys heard about that whole
Oh,
What
that was
do you
Uh,
mean?
ridiculous,
I
man.
I
That was
don't know what
so.
oh yeah,
happened.
yeah.
So the chain
I
smokers
don't. I don't
hosted
pay attention to the
a
internet.
drive-in show, which a bunch of artists have done so far already. You know, where you can park your car, they're on the decks, and it's basically the real deal. Besides the fact that you can't get up close and tight with other people. Um,
Hmm.
but everyone got out of their cars and just rushed the stage to the rail basically, and he basically just had a normal show, like your everyday average music festival with a lot of people, but no one was wearing masks. They were all right close to each other, and this could just be something I heard because I haven't seen any video of this, but I heard in a Discord call as in yesterday that there was even footage of they were recording it, and there's a bunch of people going nuts like on the rail jumping around and stuff, and someone openly stops just to cough like crazy into their arm.
that's
It's like,
fucked
come
up.
on, man.
Oh, nah.
Like, I don't get it. If I was on the stage, I would just get on the mic and be like, everyone get the fuck back in your cars, or I swear I'll ear rape you in this set. Like,
Right.
Get
it's
back
not
in the
hard.
car. The set's over. It's just like
Yeah. You want
I
me to
heard they're
hold the
being
mic
like
up to the
fined.
speakers at 100 dB for a sec? Get in your cars.
Yeah, I might be wrong, but didn't Cascade do something like similar, like on a
I wouldn't
boat?
know.
Shit. I think I saw that he did something similar, but it was a lot smaller scale to what the Chainsmokers probably did.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. I think he just played a show on a boat and like people were close together. I don't know.
mm.
It just seemed ridiculous, the whole thing in general. I don't know how they went through with that.
But they're
Yeah.
being fined, right? So I
Huh?
heard. I heard they're being like fined for it.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
this
they got some
Chainsmokers.
kind of fines for it. Like they're legally being charged for that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if like people in the crowd would start suing them.
Bruh.
But in terms of shows, though, I'm super excited for those to start up because there's a bunch of stuff that Base Army has on their plate that I'm not sure if I can properly announce. But the plan is hopefully around March, April next year. If Corona is relaxed by then, I'm going to be doing a bunch of shows in those 2 months, opening for a bunch of big headline artists. So it'll be a good opportunity for me to just get out there in the local scene, but also meet some guys that I look up to, right?
Right.
Yeah, definitely. It seems dope. I like. I feel like when shows come back, like at least we're out in LA, so when
Mhm.
shows come back here, I think I'm probably gonna go to every single one that shows up. I don't give a fuck
Nice.
what it is. It
Mhm.
could, like, I just want to be able to go like back to fucking venue, like
Yeah.
throw down.
I'm so
But like
excited.
the live scene, or the live stream festivals or live stream shows, they haven't been that, like, some of them have been like very, I guess, generic, like after they started, but some of them have been like to some interesting, like interesting places,
I
like
feel like the whole
stuff
online scene is just evolving
with
like crazy.
Marco, you're lagging out, buddy.
Yeah, he's lagging. I'll step in though, I guess. Yeah, I feel like Insomniac does their events really, really well. Like everything they've ever put together that I've watched seems just really clean, polished, and well done. And even just sitting at home, I can definitely get super into the sets. I thought Porter Robinson's Secret Sky was absolutely insane. Not really because I wasn't even the biggest fan of a lot of the music that was being played. I hope that doesn't offend anybody, but I just really, really appreciated all the work that went into actually setting it up with that whole like online experience of you being able to control that little thing bouncing around.
Yeah.
It was just like, let's take something that should just be a simple visual experience and try to make it a lot more engaging. And I think if Corona does continue to affect the world a couple months, maybe even like a year down the road, which God bless doesn't happen, we're gonna see a lot more of that kind of creativity brought to online shows.
Right. And then are you in Canada now?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'm from Toronto. I'm here right now.
That's sick.
No plans on leaving or heading out anytime soon.
Right. So in terms of like shows being played there, do you think, of course in America we're kind of like fucked in terms of just like the number of cases. So I don't see shows coming back anytime soon for a while here. At least like in heavy areas like New York and LA.
Yeah.
So have you seen anything pop up recently near you, or? Anything planned?
Yeah, actually, there's some other show companies, not the one that I work for, but that are trying to host like small scale shows. Personally, I'm not super in favor of it, and neither is the staff that works with me at Base Army. But people will do what they will, and I just hope it goes well. My biggest concern, because obviously the numbers in Canada are super low. Like 2 days ago, it was reported that we only had one new case of COVID in all of Ontario.
Yeah,
It might have even been Canada. I doubt it though, but
yeah,
I know in Ontario at least there was only one case. And the next day there was like six. I think today there was like four or something. This was 2 days ago. Um, so it's gone down a ton, but it's mainly the idea of like if we were to host a show in Toronto or something like that, is that going to bring people from other areas that could be spreading it, by coming to our show?
right.
Is that going to be like a problem now? It's not as much the guys in Toronto, but it's people that are coming from outside. And when you're booking a big artist or any type of show, I think people are really, really excited to finally get back into it. So if they see an opportunity, they're going to jump on it.
Yeah,
We just don't want to be grabbing the wrong people that are going to be spreading things around.
yeah,
Just
bro.
like
Go
just
ahead,
do a show and then like make it mandatory that everybody must wear like a hazmat suit, like full on, just straight up.
Everyone's just sweating like
Oh,
crazy.
imagine how hot that would be.
For real.
Yeah,
Like a
that
whole
would be
Just-
crowd of
incredible.
people.
Yeah, and like people will definitely come out from everywhere because I remember we went to a show. It was for Rinks Van Ass Gaming, and me and Marco were just kind of walking. I think out. We got to the rail and then we got kicked off the rail because he had like super fans that were there since like 7 in the morning, and they basically like told them like, hey, we'll push these guys off the rail so you guys can get a spot, right? Which was kind of fucked up on their part. I mean, I guess like whatever, they've been here since 7 a.m. but fucked up on that part.
The rail is such a struggle to get to.
Yeah, but like they literally like they went up to like people, like we were on the rail and they just came up to us and they're like,
We were
yo, can
there,
we like
and
step
then
back?
The security was like, move back, step back, and then we were just like, yeah.
That's shit.
Yeah, and then
That's
later yeah, later on after the show we were like, so how, like, what did you guys do to get us pushed off the rail and then you guys get on it? And then we found out that like those people have been standing there since like 7 a.m. and like some of them flew out from like Texas and we were in LA. So we're like, what the fuck? This is crazy.
Dude, it was a
Right,
good
right.
show. It was
Yeah.
a good show. Yeah, we managed to get like some spot in the rail at the very end. So like, I wanted to throw it down, but it was kind of hard since I was at the very end of the rail, I could like move it, like fucking jiggle it like crazy if I like headbang. So like the security told me to stop like several times because I was like they were scared I was gonna break it. I was like,
Break the
Fuck.
rail.
dude, honestly, it was a good show. You threw down. And it was really funny because it's like there were a bunch of people there that were like clearly just fans of his YouTube work, and there were some
Yeah.
people that were probably parents of kids that were just fans of his like YouTube stuff. So
Yeah.
it's like it's so weird like watching all these people that have like are so unaware of like dubstep, like
Yeah.
going to a dubstep show, and it's fucking funny.
They're like trying to jump to it because they think it's house music, but it's just not working.
Or it's just like you see like their face, they're just like wide eyed, like what is this? Like
For real.
help.
Bro, I remember we were in the like after we got kicked off the rail, I was just kind of like sitting around behind Marco, just kind of chilling. Like we had our own space essentially, and I remember turning around and this dude had his whole ass iPad out recording the show, like
Yo.
an iPad. I'm not even kidding. It was ridiculous.
Dude, that's just fucking funny. Like I don't know why you would like. I mean,
Bring a whole
maybe it's like
iPad.
if that's like your only way of recording it. Like honestly, that just sucks. That's like there's nothing else.
Yeah, but if anything, just like take like a couple pictures, and maybe you'll find the show online later because a lot of people post it anyway. But like, come on. But he was there like his hand like had to be holding this heavy iPad for like a good hour, just recording the set, and I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Dude, I remember when the fucking iPad Mini came out, you could get like actual cell reception on your iPad Mini and like actually use it like as a phone. And I saw a dude
Really?
walking around with a fucking iPad Mini, like he had his whole hand spread out and like slapped an iPad Mini like right next to his face and like talking as if it were a phone. It was the fucking dumbest shit I've ever seen. I was like, I didn't know what to make of it. I was just like, why,
Like kind of looks off, huh? Like
dude? Bigger
like
screen,
so
better
big.
phone.
Yeah, bro.
I went to Veldt Music Festival. I've been going every year since I was like 13, and people would look at me when I would go when I was younger and be like, "What the fuck are you
Yeah,
doing here, kid?"
I've heard about Veldt. I've always wanted to go. It seems
It's
pretty interesting.
yeah, it's the huge one that they have in Toronto. Really, really good time. Every year's been great. But last year when I went, I was in crutches, and Skrillex had a set. I was so excited for it. I worked like an hour to try and weave my way towards the front before his set started. And I
Mhm.
got there. I was about, I'd say, 2 rows back from the rail, and I was going hard. And then he ended up shouting me out in the middle of the set. He was, I guess on the mic, he's like, "Shout out to my guy in crutches. I don't know how the fuck you got this far, but everyone support this guy." And then some dude who had just railed coke off of his sunglasses puts me up on his shoulders and starts bouncing me around. Everyone's like, "Crush, kid, crush!" It was the best thing of my life. But I told my friends because my foot, I broke it like 4 days before Veldt started, and I was like, I refuse to not go.
Right.
But yeah, next
Dude, I
year
feel
maybe
that.
I'll just like break both my legs on purpose and just go in a wheelchair or something. You know, up myself.
Dude,
But
I feel that. It's like I'll usually put fuck it. I don't give a fuck how like I'll try my best to make it to a show regardless of how I'm like feeling because it's like if I paid for it, I'm gonna fucking go. I'm like
yeah,
I've been excited for this like for a really long time because I usually buy tickets like immediately when they're announced. I don't like
yeah,
Yeah,
wait.
yeah.
Fucking I mean John knows like in February we went and saw Slander and I was
yeah.
just like literally the day before I was told I had like mono so I wore a mask and I was like fuck it, I'm gonna go
Oh
and it
yeah.
was the
Yeah,
following day I felt so bad but it was
Of
so worth
course.
it.
terrible. The reason I bring that up is I got so close to being at the rail. Like if you search up any footage of Skrillex at Veld, you will see my crutches bobbing up and down in the air. Like it's just literally in every single video. You can't miss it just because like it's crutches, you know.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let me to the rail at all, and I understand why. Because to be honest, like I was looking as far as I could, and it looked like every person at the rail was like a die hard Skrillex fan. You had some people that were like from media companies or their own media companies that were like filming it on their high quality cameras. You had other people with like the Oslo logo like tatted on their back of their neck
Oh
or something. I was
shit.
like, I can't compete.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
I fell
shit.
back here, so I never got to the rail. I was like 3 rows back the entire time. There was like thousands and thousands of people behind me, so I guess that's why I noticed it. He's like, how the fuck did this kid in crutches get this far in the crowd?
Right.
Dude, Skrillex is one of those artists that I'm like, it's so surprising. Like when everybody's like thinks dubstep, they associate Skrillex, but like and everybody like thinks of Skrillex like as the first name that comes to mind when you think dubstep, but
Yeah,
like Skrillex hasn't really like released a lot of music that has been dubstep in a really long time, and it's kind of interesting that it's like he was so big, he was like so big for the genre that like it doesn't even matter if he could go fucking make like country music if he wanted to, and people would still associate his name with
with
Of
dubstep.
course. I mean, like, I feel like when you say EDM, people just immediately think, oh, Skrillex.
yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, you're gonna be known for what you became like famous for. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'd like to
Yeah.
say that when you mention, I don't know, in comparison to another artist, I guess like Madion or something, you can
mhm.
say, or even Porter. You know what I mean? When you compare his Worlds album to the new stuff that he's putting out, and Madion's old Adventure album to what he has now, there's a big difference in sound there. But people are
Yeah.
still going to associate it, that artist with the original sound, not
Of
with whoever
course.
really makes the
Yeah,
sound.
you're always gonna associate the artist with like the first thing that they started. What I find interesting is that you'll associate the entire thing with this artist instead of
I
like
think that's just a
not
level of
not that
like
way.
ignorance, but not like in a bad way. Ignorance, just people that like don't know Skrillex or EDM really. Like I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever heard like an actual like true like dubstep fan or a producer or something label Skrillex as just a dubstep producer. You know what I mean? It
Right.
usually comes from
Mm.
guys that are like, oh, I know that song. You know the one that's rang, bang and rang, bang and rang. Yeah, that one. That's good. That's good. That's a good one. I listen to that while I work out sometimes. Yeah.
Ooh.
It's like, clearly know your shit, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I gotta step back for a minute.
Dude, I've had fucking people like speaking of that, I've had like people that are really into like working out and they'll like say like, "Oh, I love electronic music. I listen to it when I work out all the time." So could you make me a playlist? I'll give them a bunch of like music and they're like, "Dude, how have I like never heard any of this stuff?" It's like you don't go out and listen to it. Like
Yeah.
they they think like, "Oh, I know the entire genre at this point."
Oh no,
Just
it's
because
just
It's impossible. Listen, every day there's new artists, right?
like
By like the thousands, like, especially in EDM. I feel like it's
yeah.
not easy, but I feel like it's more accessible, and I don't feel like as many people are getting into like rap music and like other things as easy as EDM. I feel like when
Yeah.
you start, you might do like beats and stuff, but then I feel like when a lot of people start, they start like trying to make like house music or popular music. So,
The
Yeah.
thing about EDM, I feel like there's so many more smaller artists
oh,
than
of course,
like any other genre because like anybody can do it. Like you don't
I
really
don't know.
need to
I
have too
feel
much
like
music theory.
I personally feel like the rap industry is probably the most saturated in terms of just like artists, but
Yeah,
I
probably.
think the EDM industry is a little better just in terms of the quality of the artists because a lot of the
yeah,
guys that are getting into EDM are really trying to make a name for themselves. You know, they're pushing out their stuff, they're posting on social media, where a lot of rappers are kind of just like, they'll drop a song, they'll put it on their SoundCloud, and then they'll be like, "Yo, fam, like shout out my Instagram." You know what I mean? And it's all about that Instagram number. Like if they get like 4K on Instagram, like they've made it. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
'Cause I mean, no offense to them, I've got a lot of buddies that are like that too. And obviously, this isn't the case for everybody, but I feel like the EDM community is just a little bit more driven towards trying to find some type of like real success in their music than
right,
a lot of rap people. Because I think rap is easier to get into because all you need to do is just write down lyrics. Whereas for EDM, there's a whole science behind it to understand the technicality if you want to like really impress anybody and make a name for yourself.
yeah. I mean, at that point, I feel like it's kind of like you're making a split between being a producer and then also being a rapper. Because rapping, it's
Yeah.
like I feel like anybody can almost kind of do it. Of course, people that are good at it will keep doing it. Of
Anybody who
course,
has rhythm can do it.
yeah. I mean, all you gotta do is kind of like rhyme and like, of course, write slick shit and sub at people, you know. So,
You just need to talk about like you just need to talk about how you have like hose
bro, I got a
hose
bigger Rolex than yours. I got
There
a
you
bigger
go.
pool than
Yeah.
yours.
There you go. No, you're officially a rapper, Victor.
Thank
Congrats.
you.
Yeah, I think right now in the underground like EDM community, there's also like a lot of talent right now, and all the big artists are tweeting this kind of shit out right now too. But it's just it's saturated for sure. But there are guys that stand out. Like I think good examples would be like Voltra, Ace Aura,
oh
Papa
Ultra.
Khan, More Kismet. But a lot of these people that kind of just very new artists, but everyone is just loving their stuff that is in the production community because they're doing it so well. It's so unique to themselves, and they're doing it the right way. I see these guys really being kind of the next faces of the EDM scene. Um,
Yeah.
and there's so many people I guess I haven't mentioned too, but a lot of underground talent.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I
Shout
really
out.
like how.
Go ahead, guys.
Oh, do you want to finish that shout out, Victor?
Yeah, I was gonna
Finish
say
the
shout out more Kismet, bro. For
Shout out Mark.
we went to
I
see
think
him
Veldt-
live, and that was like the only person on the like the set list that I actually knew. Like a lot of it was like extremely underground artists, like maybe like less than like 1,000
Yeah, I
followers and stuff.
when we went, I only knew more Kismet. I didn't know any of the other artists. Now I know all of them, but
Yeah.
it's like so I probably should have been like I probably should have been a lot more into it than I was, but like,
So when we went, we
and
were
like
just like, yeah, we're coming for more Kismet, and that's about it. But uh, he shouted me out because it was my birthday that day, and Marco was like, "Yo, it's this kid's birthday," and then more Kismet told me happy birthday. So I feel like I'm blessed now.
he was like, "Oh, pizza time." He was like, "Oh, pizza time guy." So I was like, obviously, I was like, "It's pizza time," and he's like, "Oh, it's you," and he's like, "Yeah," and I was like,
It's
"Easy."
That's hilarious, dude. No, I mentioned those guys in particular just because I think they've really been like creating styles that are almost becoming trends nowadays. You know what I mean? Like when Ace Aura first came out with his super melodic, like color bassy kind of sound, it completely changed the face of Rushdown. I'd say like the label that he's been mainly working with,
Mm.
in the way that like all the submissions I think from that point, I don't dare to say that they're Ace Aura inspired, but they go for that kind of like melodic texture in all the releases now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
they want
something I
like
think that was really founded by him, and then now like looking at Voltra, he has that combination of like that Must Die style with just really techy, computery, soundy basses in general. And I find so many producers trying to replicate that style, and you know, some do it really well, some not as well. But at the end of the day, like he's the one that is kind of founding that thing, and there's tons of people that are following it, and he's not even like a huge artist yet, you know. So
yeah.
when I see a small artist really making an imprint on the EDM community, like the producers, that's when I feel like they're really gonna break out and see success as an artist in the future. Just because if they have this type of influence already without the audience, then once they have the audience, think about what they'll be doing, right?
Yeah, it's always like there's always those songs that you can tell like a particular artist worked or like a particular artist did it, and I feel like that's super important. Like if you have
Having
a
a
style
style,
like
yeah,
that, but it's like if you have a style that's like if they can hear like the song without even like like seeing your name involved, like they can know it's you. That's like then I feel like that's the point where you've like really cemented
or even
yourself. Like
little
more
things like
kismet.
if someone drops a tune and you see a comment on that tune, and it'll be like, oh, sounds like more Kismet, and it's not a more Kismet release. Like that's a solid sign if you're getting somewhere, because now
Yeah.
your sound is being interpreted into other people's music.
Yeah,
Right,
there's
right.
so many artists that have that style. Like more Kismet, you could tell it's a more Kismet track. And
Yeah,
like, I mean, people like even people like Xylent, it's kind of got like the really weird, like robotic-y, like glitchy kind of dubstep. Like you could tell, like, oh, this sounds like a Xylent track.
yeah,
Um, and I feel like that's like super important if you because you don't want to copy like other people's shit. Like
mhm, yeah, absolutely.
uh yeah, and what you were saying with like underground artists, I do love the fact that bigger artists, especially artists that have a like are like have a have like a spotlight to the pop music community, like even like the Chainsmokers and like Marshmello and shit. They throw down actually like and play a lot of like like electronic shit live, like a lot of dubstep and stuff like that,
Mhm.
which is very interesting. Like I saw Marshmello once, and it was really funny because everybody was there was expecting, oh, they like the rap shit or like
Some
the
melodic
melodic like
language.
place is they're like play summer, play alone,
Yeah,
and then he fucking throws down with like sellout and fucking he played some like disciple tracks and shit like that. And
yeah.
he went like he went
Oh, even
really hard
a thing that happened with Deadlift, if you know who that artist is.
mm,
He put out there was like if I have the story correct, he was on Reddit and he saw this artist Deadlift. He heard his music, was like, "This is tight," and then he put out a tweet at Deadlift, send me a DM, and Deadlift was like, "What the fuck?" And then he ended up playing his new track out at Ultra.
I, fucking that's crazy.
Yeah,
I that's like that's honestly a really cool thing that they're doing. I guess as bigger artists, like to give like the smaller artists some like spotlights.
Right.
It's like here, like take
it shows
this
they have roots, though.
audience that
You know what I mean? Because Chainsmokers
yeah
and Marshmello, it's like they didn't start off as pop producers. Like they worked in the EDM scene, and once they got to a point where they had the connections that they could properly launch a pop song, that's when they did it, and it turned around for them, and it went great. You know, I think a lot of EDM producers have the ability to transition into that pop scene and do really well. But that industry in particular, in my eyes, is really, really connection driven and connection based.
For
Because
sure.
if
absolutely
Marshmello all of a sudden did a rap song at the start of his career, maybe that's a bit iffy because all of his EDM fans are going to be like, what the fuck? But when he drops a song with Roddy Rich, it's like, it's going to do well, of course,
Of course.
And you have that
Yeah.
connection, you have cable backing, and you have the fan base. So, like you said with Skrillex, if you put out a country tune, it wouldn't matter. There's a certain level that you hit where now you can really, really just do whatever the hell you
yeah
want as an artist, and it'll carry itself.
Yeah, bro. Diplo just put out a fucking whole country album, and like people are
Seriously.
like, all right, whatever.
Damn. I was unaware.
Mm-hmm. It's sick. It's pretty good.
right. I'm gonna throw you under the bus, but John, you wanna say anything?
Um, so for your name, Paper Skies. So like, where'd you ever come with that name? Like, how'd you come with it?
That's a good question because it's a funny story with it. But basically,
You answer that,
I
I'm gonna eat my pound cake.
eat that pound cake, bro. All right, I got my name originally was DSI7898 because that was the name that I had made my Club Penguin username when I was a kid because I just bought the Nintendo DSi and my full name is Daniel Sanchez. So I thought DSi and then I needed four numbers and for some reason in my mind those numbers represented the word cool. So it's supposed to be Daniel Sanchez is cool or DSI7898. And then a couple months into producing, I was like, "This is the dumbest fucking name in the world." And I changed it to Paper Planes because I thought it fit the whole melodic style. And Paper Planes by Virtual Riot was one of my favorite tunes. I made a Discord server. I called it Skies because I figured paper planes fly in the skies. I don't know. And then eventually this duo popped out of nowhere and they also named themselves Paper Planes. They were a house duo, originally just two separate house artists that made a thing together, and they released on Osla. So I actually got an email from Osla, and they were saying that, hey, just letting you know, we've just released this duo called Paper Planes. And looking back at it now, it wasn't anything crazy. They were kind of just like, we recommend you change your name because it could lead to like things happening, to your brand in the future. But as a kid, I took it as holy fuck! If I don't change my name, Skrillex is gonna sue me.
Yeah.
So I changed it to Paper Skies because the paper part was already there, and then I just took the skies from the Discord. And at first, I wasn't like the biggest fan of it, but looking back now, like I love the name, and I think it has like a nice little ring to it compared to Paper. It just stands out more. That and is you search up Paper Skies on Google, it's the first search result because there's nothing even close to that name. Whereas
Right.
before, if you search up Paper Planes, you're just gonna get a bunch of origami tutorials. So
Like, I guess it's better
it
for
ends up
marketing.
saving my ass. So thank you, Skrillex, for almost suing me. I guess.
That's like a dub in the end, man.
It's a big deal.
Big dub. All right. Fuck. I'm just thinking about how the fucking pound cake was good. What, Victor? You have something to say? I see you
Yes,
shaking your head.
I do. You didn't bring any for us. I want pound
Fuck off,
cake now.
Victor.
Oh,
Dude, all right. You know what? I'm gonna mail this fucking pound cake to you, Victor. It's gonna get there. It's gonna be all moldy, and you're gonna eat it. I'm gonna watch you eat
No,
that.
Amazon Express delivery.
Somebody donated $100 and he'll eat it.
no.
All right. So yeah, okay. What haven't we touched on? You're not gaming. You're making a lot of music. You're doing a lot of things. You start with piano.
I
You
got
do all
you.
that cool stuff.
Okay.
What?
So I noticed on your hoodie there's a little owl, and it represents Drake's brand, right?
It does.
So,
Yeah.
what do you think of his
Oh, boy.
music? And what types of music do you listen that's not EDM?
Good question. So first of all, the Drake stuff. I like Drake's music a lot. Actually, I'm not like the biggest type of fan where like I have all of his music in my playlist and I'm constantly
Yeah,
doing pieces. But I've listened to I'd say most of his discography. I've got some hits and misses. I really like a lot of his tracks that just kind of change up completely halfway through, just because I think it kind of brings a new surprising element. And that's usually what I have in terms of like my rap playlist.
Mhm.
But on
What
my
kind
own
of
time, huh?
what kind of tracks? Like, just name off a few.
Summer 16 was a good one.
Ooh.
I don't even remember all of my name. I'd have to go check really quick. Let me see. Straight Fire. I got the playlist. Never mind. That is the only Drake song that I have in that playlist. But I know there's some other ones. I know there's some other ones. I listen to a lot of rap, I guess, just because my friends listen to a lot of rap, but it's not something that I listen to casually by myself. Like if I'm just at home or if I'm working out or if I'm doing any type of work in general, I'm not listening to rap. It's just mainly in social settings. But what I do listen to is a lot of lo-fi stuff, a lot of old 80s instrumental hip hop beats. I've got like can't really see it here, but in this little compartment there's tons of vinyls, and I collect a whole bunch of them that I just find around the place, and they're all stuff from I don't know, like Madlibs, Jay Dilla, Pete Rock, Mad Villain, a bunch of guys basically. But I'm really into that old kind of hip hop sound because everything was like unsyncopated back then. It was all live done on like drum pads, and just the way that they found their samples and everything, I find really unique. And comparing that to the actual finished product with the rapper on it, um, I've got a fat playlist with a
Right.
bunch of old hip hop stuff. I'm really keen on it. I really like the sound of it and the aesthetic that it and the mindset it places me.
Fuck yeah.
That's definitely. I mean, I feel like you and Victor would get along really well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean,
I guess a lot of R&B stuff too. I listen to on the side.
Yeah, I love R&B. R&B slaps.
Yeah, I'm open to any genres to be honest. Like if people send me stuff on stream just casually to listen to whenever, I'll always find some way to appreciate it.
so you've been streaming? You're a streamer?
I haven't been streaming recently. I was at the start of quarantine a lot more just to try and, keep other people occupied and get work done while also helping other people, I guess, not be bored. But it's something I just do for fun when I feel like it. If I'm playing a video game every once in a while, I'll be like, fuck, let's stream this. If I'm working on a tune, let's stream this. There's no schedule, but there'll be times where I do like a stream 5 times in a week and then not a stream for a full month. And in this
Right.
case, it's been about, I'd say, like almost a month now since I last streamed, so I'm probably gonna pull one up soon.
All right. That's good. I'll make sure that I'll make sure to link your Twitch. So
We'll pop in.
whoever does what, yeah. We'll
Yeah.
pop in your stream. We'll berate you at how bad you are at video games.
For the video game stuff you mentioned earlier, yeah, I don't really play a lot of video games, but CS:GO is like the one game that ever since quarantine 2 I've really picked up on.
Yes.
CS:GO
Fuck
is
you,
so fun.
Victor.
You missed the golden age of CS:GO, bro. Unless you.
No, I played it back then too.
Oh, okay.
I've been playing it for years, right? But it was kind of thing I just played it on and off, and what I really like about it is just the fact that years later I can play the game and it still feels the same as how it used to.
Right.
Not
Right.
There's little patches here and there, things with the map movement, whatever it might be. But it's not like Fortnite where I can play the Fortnite at season 1 and then I come back a couple months later and now there's flying robots that shoot rockets. It's like
Come back 2 days later and it's a different game.
Yeah. I feel like with that game they have to keep changing stuff or people will lose interest. But with like CS:GO, it's so like they've had a massive community beforehand, right? And it's like people love it for the gameplay. It's mostly a competitive game. And
Yeah.
while I don't necessarily like playing it, I do like that it keeps it fairly static in the sense of like they don't change much. The one thing that
the Skrillex of PC games,
Yeah.
yeah.
So as a CS:GO player, what are your thoughts on Valorant?
I actually haven't played it yet, and mainly just for the reason again of like time. Like CS:GO is really the only video game that I'm playing recently. I actually played through FTL, if you know what that is recently.
Yeah.
Faster than
game's
light?
fun. It's another thing. It's called Faster Than Light.
Fuck
I
yeah.
come back to that like once a year. I'll just play the game once on a live stream. I did it on a live stream again, just beat it really quick, and then it's like, okay, time to not play this for another year. But CS:GO is really the only video game that I'm playing.
So are you playing competitive or are you just sitting there in deathmatch?
Yeah, I'm playing competitive.
Of course.
Competitive. But I just haven't tried Valorant because I see it the same as like I played Fortnite. It was really fun, but I couldn't stick with it just because it didn't really, it didn't stick with me as all. Like it's not that it's a bad game by any means. I enjoyed it. Same thing happened with Apex Legends. Same thing happened with Overwatch. And I feel like if I download Valorant, it's just gonna be one of those things that like instead of maybe doing work, I'll be like, oh, let me play Valorant with my buddies since I have it now. And then I'll play that for a couple months and then just never play it again. So it's like, why pick up on it now?
I feel you on that.
It's still popular, as popular as it is now in a few months. And if it is, then maybe I'll download it and fuck around. But I'm pretty content just playing CS:GO only and just getting work done whenever I need.
Right. I'm in the same boat too because I haven't played it yet. I have seen like people or like my friend group that do play. And to be honest, like, I don't necessarily like the game, like in the art style and stuff.
Okay.
But I do like the way that they are trying to make it so that everybody can play by like making the graphics really shitty or just like making it not run as well. Like anybody can play it. The one thing I don't like about it is that it has that Riot Vanguard shit that like runs on your computer even when you're not playing the game. That's kind of
Every time I
sus.
bring it up, Victor's like they're installing spyware on your computer.
It is.
It's like some sort of anti-cheat or something.
It's anti-cheat, but the thing is that it runs on the back of your computer even when you're not playing Valorant. Just kind of sus. I mean, of course, you have Google and shit taking your data all the time, but they're not running an application on your computer when you're not even open like on the browser, you know? So kind of sus.
Seems a little sus, yeah. I can feel that.
Yeah, and they're like, it's like the company that they are like associated with is Tencent now, because Riot, I think they have Tencent bought shares into it, so Tencent's kind of known for being sus.
Yeah. I'm what is it? I got 30 minutes now. I'm so excited the Raptors are finally gonna be playing again. I'm a big basketball fan. I'm just counting down the minutes for that.
What did you think about your guys' win?
It was big. I mean, I wish we could have held it for 2 years in a row, but
Of
you know, it
course.
looks like the season's back open again. So we'll see if we take it. It's definitely gonna be a little tougher this year.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I got high hopes. I'm really excited to see actually some of the other teams though. Like I am a big good Raptors fan, but for example, even just seeing Zion get in the court, I'm really interested for that. If you know,
Yeah, of course.
I love sports. I, I know exactly what you're. I definitely know what you're talking about.
All right.
Zion is like some random. He's like, okay, not random. He's a new player to the NBA who's predicted to be like the next like Michael Jordan or LeBron James or something fuck like that. I don't remember the wording.
Yeah.
But he's just really good, and he got drafted to the Pelicans, and I'm pretty sure has only played like half a game or something, and it wasn't anything super impressive. But I'm really just waiting for the season to start so I can see once he gets into his flow what happens.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's a lot of pressure on him too, because number one, he came from Duke, which is an amazing school, of course. And he has like a lot of pressure on him because everybody sees him as the next LeBron James, essentially.
Yeah.
And like he got drafted to the Pelicans that just like literally acquired the whole Lakers squad from like 2 years ago. So I feel like he could do work there for sure. And this new layout, I was reading the news, and then I think I read something that the whole system of the bubble was like created for Zion in a way. Like they would not have gone to the playoffs, or they would not have the potential to go to the playoffs if they didn't do this bubble format. So like it was with Zion in mind because they want to do ticket sales, and like they can't sell tickets, or like they can't get people to watch unless like there's something to actually watch for. And like having this big star come out and like play like during the playoffs would bring people to watch. So
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Jeez, I'm excited for it.
All right. Yeah. Dude, RIP the Olympics, man. Like no Olympics this year.
Yeah.
To be honest,
like, are they hosting an Olympics? Or they're planning on hosting an Olympics in Toronto in the next 4 years or something?
I don't know. I know there's supposed to be Tokyo this year. I think, right?
I think they're pushing it back maybe to next year, but they might even just skip it entirely. We'll see.
Dude, it'd be like the first Olympics that was not done on like the 4th year. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But it'd be like I mean, it's like if they don't do it, that's gonna suck. I mean, the last Olympics was the one that was in fucking Rio. That was like rivers that were filled with shit, and it was like
bro, they were building walls
or
like
Olympics.
They were built so they have like favelas and shit. So you're going down the highway and you can see all these like people that are like living in like the worst conditions ever, and then like the government's like, you know what? Instead of solving the issue, let's just put up fucking concrete walls so you can't even see it. It's actually so fucked. But besides that, I'm not the type of person that really watches the Olympics. So when it comes around, I'm just like, all right, cool. Like I guess it's something like to keep us, I guess, I don't know, connected in a way, and just like have something to talk about. Mm-hmm. But I'm not that upset about it, to be honest.
Dude, I'm not a very sporty person, but I do like watching the Olympics and like the World Cup, because you get like the sense of like nationality sometimes when you see like people of your like I guess origin competing. Like I can find, I'll be like, during like the time of the Olympics and during the time of like the World Cup, I'm Swedish. I'm no longer American. fuck America. I am European the whole way. Like, dude, it's kind of weird. It's got that like sense of, you know, doesn't really matter what like the thing is, but everybody can like get like fucking cheered on. I don't like it could be like professional fucking basketball thing, and I'll be like, dude, nationality. Be
Yeah,
like
bro, but
Swedish.
listen, if like Sweden's losing and then America's winning, you could be just like, bro, I'm American now. Like you can
Fucking
flip flop. Like that's the only time you can flip flop. You can't flip flop any other sport.
That's kind of true.
Yeah, I feel like once you like lock in yourself as a fan of like any sport, like say like the Dodgers for baseball, like you can't be like, yo, I'm a fan of the Mets as well or whatever. Like it's not like you can say that you like them, but you can't be a fan of them unless you're casual like me. Then you can just like everything.
For sure.
All right. Okay. What is like? I'm trying to think of like the fucking. I think because like I'm running out of things to talk about. Victor, do you have anything? Do you have anything left? John, do you have anything?
Let's go to John.
No,
It's
no.
been quiet. It's been
John,
silent.
we need it. John, we need to hit your quota. We need to hit.
Oh,
your
we
speaking
lost
quota.
John.
Oh shit, he left.
No, I'm here.
He's
We need to hit your
abandoning.
speaking quota.
I feel like I talk too much. We need John more.
Dude,
No.
you're telling me, John, come on, say anything. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, what's your favorite condiment? Do you think ketchup is like
Oh
the most
fuck
superior
no,
one?
not this.
Probably yeah. It honestly is ketchup.
Bro, it's the versatility.
Exactly, it's ketchup.
Fuck
Like,
you.
those two.
Barbecue sauce.
It's
No.
not barbecue. Barbecue is good, but like
Barbecue's good.
ketchup
but
is like superior.
there's more use for ketchup.
Exactly, the versatility of it.
Sorted type.
Okay. But that's what makes ketchup. But that's what makes barbecue sauce good is the fact that it's only useful with certain things. It's like ketchup. It just gets boring and it's bland. It's like
Nah, bro. Every time you have ketchup, bro, it slaps. There's like it doesn't matter what it's on, fries, anything. Like
On that note,
except for
I
mac
think
and
we're
cheese.
reaching- I
Except
think
for
we're
mac
reaching
and
the end of
cheese.
our time. I think the episode's almost over. Fuck you, Victor. I'm ending it there. All right. Is I guess with our episode almost ending, is there anything you wanna any last words you wanna give?
Sure. Yeah. I have a EP coming just around the corner. The release date hasn't been announced yet. I'm not sure when this podcast is going to be live. But yeah, nothing has been announced, but it's coming out on August 14th. I'm really excited.
This will be live in 2 days.
2 days. Okay, good. Yeah, so people are going to hear first then if anything, but I have an EP coming out with Rushdown on the 14th of August. It's going to be a heavy dubstep EP, which is definitely a change of pace to what I've usually been putting out compared to the more melodic stuff. Not to say that it won't still be kind of melodic, but I just wanted to create a quick 3-track EP to really set up like a good stage presence for live shows so that I can throw down, that heavy stuff that's going to make people go nuts, and then the melodic stuff to give them their feels, right?
Right.
Awesome. All right, cool. And then just why don't you go ahead and pretty much plug everything you have, all your music, all your socials.
Sure. Yeah, I'm Paper Skies on all platforms. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud, Spotify, Twitch, Google Plus, wherever. Paper Skies is basically it on all of them. That's not the exact @ for everything. Some of them are different. I wish I could keep them consistent, but they're kind of scattered. Hopefully I can get that fixed eventually. But if you just do a quick Paper Skies Google search, it'll come up. You'll see the back of my head as the main photo for some reason.
All right, sick. Well, I guess on that note, everything for Paper Skies will be down in the description of wherever you're listening to this, watching this. I don't give wherever the fuck. All of our stuff, like everything for the podcast, will also be there. Everything for us individually will be there. We have a Patreon. Join the Discord, and I guess